When facing extraterrestrial creatures, we should treat them dialectically, not unconditionally hostile, and use emotions to influence them. When Qin Ren earnestly taught the younger generation in front of him, the younger generation only pointed to the nine-tailed fox and the vampire queen who were fighting behind him with half a doubt. "Senior, is that why you raise them? Otherwise." Qin Ren shrugged. "No one understands monsters better than me." Keywords of the novel. No one understands magic better than me. No pop-up window, no one understands magic better than me. Download the complete text of magic. No one understands magic better than me. Read the latest chapters of magic. Chapter 1. Retired Exorcists. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Retired Exorcists Parallel World. June 25, Saturday, Rongcheng. The sky is as blue as the sea, and the cirrus clouds are as thick as scales, just like foam washed up on the shore one after another. The scorching sun at noon was scorching, and the sticky and hot air filled the air, making people feel like taking a shower in slime, feeling uncomfortable all over. Slim. I haven't seen them for a long time. Walking on the slightly empty street, Qin Ren was holding a Miss Aishi cigarette, as if recalling some lovely old friends, muttering absent-mindedly to himself. 10 minutes later, he slowly took out a puff of smoke and stopped at the foot of a tea house. Funya fragrant tea. Qin Ren looked up, and the plaque of the tea house shimmered under the reflection of sunlight. Funya why not Longya? Implying that only women are elegant, while men are not. Qin Ren trembled at the thought of this, his whole body sweating and his hands and feet freezing on a hot day. He instantly felt cooler, then extinguished his cigarette and walked straight into the second floor. By the window. Black bag. Entering the tea house, Qin Ren glanced at the anonymous text message on his phone and quickly found the woman described in the corner. "Hello, may I ask if it's by Jia?" You're Qin Ren, right?" Qin Ren walked over to say hello, and Bai Jia stood up to respond, smiling generously. However, her chin and apple muscles were a bit stiff, and she felt like she had used a knife to some extent. In contrast, Qin Ren's first impression of Bai Jia was almost perfect. Sword eyebrows and starry eyes, jade trees facing the wind. Maintain a proper posture and dress neatly. Especially with those melancholic eyes, there seemed to be a faint scent of Keanu Reeves. Perhaps in this world where little milk dogs run everywhere, the melancholic uncle no longer has a market, but in Bai Jia's opinion, Qin Ren's appearance just happened to hit her XP. In front of the two tables were ordered cups of Longjing. Qin Ren was so thirsty that he picked them up and drank them first. On the other hand, Bai Jia still had to politely say a few more words. "Long heard Mr. Qin." Cough. Cough. Dot. As soon as Qin Ren spoke, he choked out and stunned Bai Jia. "It's okay, it's okay." Qin Ren waved his hand repeatedly, unable to clearly say that he had heard Mr. 91 Qin, so he took the initiative to take the conversation. "So, are you responsible for handling the retirement procedures of my exorcist?" "Well, that's right." Since Qin Ren came straight to the point, Bai Jia didn't hesitate, revealing 8 professional teeth. "First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Mr. Qin, the newly appointed director of the Exorcism Office of the Surface Management Bureau. Do you still need me to inform you about the retirement precautions for exorcists?" "No need." Qin Ren waved his hand. "I've been working the night shift for a month, and today we finally have a day off. I also have to buy cat food and watch movies, so let's make a quick decision. Exorcists are also human beings. They exorcise demons privately, and those who openly believe in social animals must also engage in social animals. After all, the contracts of the Surface Management Bureau are all king contracts, and relying on the symbolic monthly subsidies in the Bureau is not enough for major platforms to open membership. Bai Jie began to take out forms, signature pens, recording pens, and so on from her bag. While taking it, I couldn't help but feel a bit curious. So, Mr. Qin. You work overtime so hard, what kind of work do you usually do? Work. Qin Ren squinted his eyes and took a sip of tea. Ma Nong, have you heard of it? Bai Jie nodded. Well, bald. Have you heard of 996? Well, it's a blessing. Bai Jie looked at Qin Ren's head. But you don't seem like a programmer, do you? I am a brother to a programmer. I graduated from architecture and work in a design institute. Currently, I am 907. 907, 12 plus 12 minus 9 times. Bai Jie silently calculated for a moment, but couldn't quite figure it out, so she didn't hesitate. She opened her recording pen, cleared her throat, and began to confirm some basic information with Qin Ren. Name. Qin Ren, Qin Shi Huang's Qin, the kernel of almonds. Age. 23. How long have you been an exorcist? From my sophomore year until now. 4 years. The contract I signed with your bureau is 4 years. For 4 years, in the exorcist industry, it is considered a senior qualification. After all, the risk is high, and there are not many exorcists who have been working for 4 years without missing arms, legs, and mental health. What is the reason for retirement? It's simple. It's not a good job originally, and with more than a year of work after graduation, I've become increasingly busy. I also have a sister who is pursuing a master's degree at home to support me, so now I just want to focus on being a social worker and save some down payment. Qin Ren spoke slowly and then took out a cigarette. Do you mind? Please do as you please. Bai Jie is one of the few types who likes men to smoke, and Qin Ren is also one of the few types who can keep their teeth white and clean while smoking. Pure white, is it a good match? Bai Jie did a homophonic brain teaser and flipped the signature pen around her fingertips. May I ask, what is Mr. Qin's ability? Is there another ability? Is there another one? Qin Ren frowned. Yes, it's not mandatory. It is common for most exorcists, even after retirement, to refuse to reveal their unique skills as caretakers. Qin Ren was the same, so he chose to skip this question. Okay, then. Bai Jie pulled up the chair and sat upright. Next, I would like to ask Mr. Qin to recall which demon descendants you have encountered in your exorcism career, and the Bureau needs to collect relevant information. The descendants of demons, also known as the descendants of demons. The universe is boundless, and time and space are vast. Before the 19th century AD, when the barriers to planes were still weak, various diverse planes had crossed into different worlds for intentional or unintentional reasons. Nine-tailed fox, gluttony, snake-haired female demon, one-eyed giant, ancient intelligent weapon, Leviathan, Lucifer, blood race, werewolf. From the classic of mountains and seas to the Bible, from ancient mythology to folklore, their power and mystery have been recorded and passed down in various forms and versions. But now, times have changed. Due to the influence of the older generation of exorcists and their living environment, those once glorious entities have long since disappeared, and the closure of plane barriers has led to the absence of newcomers. And the animals, plants, and even things that have been influenced by their bloodline or abilities in the world continue to exist in various complex and diverse forms today, known as the demonic descendants. For example, the vampire who inherits the bloodthirsty characteristics of the bloodthirsty race but has an ugly and vicious appearance is the most common type of demon descendant among contemporary exorcists. Demon descendants, let me think about it. Actually, there aren't many either. When it comes to the demonic descendants he encountered in his career of exorcism, Qin Ren also squinted his eyes and then picked up his fingers. First, there are vampires, Tai Sui, and water monkeys. Then there are the three sisters of Swamp Slim, Forest Slim, and Lubricant Slim. In addition, there is a poison dragon, a spider with human face, and a little you who has practiced squatting. There may not be many, but in reality, there are various types of polishing. In the end, Qin Ren simply took out his phone and showed Bai Jie a few photos, and the things in the photos were even more heavyweight. Octopus tentacles covered with eyeballs, a metal cube soaked in blood, a white and tender jade leg filled with proper characters, a fake mummy with Taoist talismans pasted on it. Some of these are extremely rare types of demonic descendants with extremely scarce intelligence. There are so many in Rongcheng. Bai Jie opened her mouth in disbelief. Moreover, the bureau said, Mr. Qin, many times you exorcise demons without fighting or hunting, but the demon descendants in Rongcheng are more obedient than many other areas. Is it true? It's a bit exaggerated, but it's also similar. Are you alone? Otherwise. Qin Ren, smoking a cigarette, calmly spread out his hands. No one knows exorcism better than me. Okay, it seems like I've met a big shot this time. Now Bai Jie seems to know why the bureau had to assign her another task when she arrived. A demon exorcist like this is definitely worth keeping, so, when all the information was filled out, except for the fingerprint, Bai Jie put away the form, took a sip of tea, and began to try the second stage of communication. Mr. Qin, to be honest, regarding your retirement, the meaning of the Bureau's exorcism office is to see if you can reconsider renewing your contract. Don't consider it. Qin Ren's voice became stern and he firmly refused. Renewal. What a joke. Qin Ren has been exorcising demons for 4 years. It's hard and tiring, not to mention. He even had a falling out with his first girlfriend from college due to an outrageous exorcism, and he hasn't reconciled yet. Surprisingly, he still wants to renew his contract. Mr. Qin, you may not know that the situation has been. No, it should be said that the whole world may experience major changes recently, and global security is very likely. Is defecation okay? Is it safe? Dian. Dian's Hongdian. For years have passed and I still come back with this. Qin Ren disdainfully rolled his eyes. Back in the day, when he was just a sophomore, he was still a little fresh meat. In his dormitory, a group of people claiming to be from the Plane Management Bureau suddenly broke in and said they had detected some special ability on him. The task of protecting the world was entrusted to you. Back then, how innocent. Impulsive. The crown of sin has just finished, and Qin Ren has nowhere to vent his passion and blood. So we signed a 4-year exorcism contract in the Rongqing area, the kind of silence for breach of contract. At first, Qin Ren didn't know what his superpower was, so he didn't dare to resist. Later on, I found out that Qin Ren had already developed a Stockholm mentality of coming all the way, so he worked until the contract expired. Now that he wants to completely return to a normal life, but the Bureau is trying to catch him in the same way, Qin Ren's attitude can only be Pichio's but. There's no way. But Mr. Qin, this time it's really different. Bai Jie still doesn't give up. Recently, many demonic people around the world have been behaving abnormally, and there are rumors in the Bureau that the plane barriers may have loosened again. The barrier on the plane has loosened. Qin Ren slightly perked up his ears and glanced sideways at Bai Jie. Well, some people speculate that a new generation of demon ancestors may descend on those ancient ectoplanes, which is why the demon descendants are restless. And they also speculate that the coordinates of the loose barrier on the plane may happen to be in Rongcheng, so. Rumors. Speculations. Estimates. Possibilities. Qin Ren broke Bai Jie's fingers and looked at her expressionlessly. Miss Bai, do you think it's appropriate to PUA me with something you're not even sure about? Not suitable. And it's too ridiculous. Nine-tailed fox, gluttony, Lucifer, blood clan, werewolf. If the plane barriers really loosen, wouldn't these things be exposed again? In 2012, there was also a popular Mayan prophecy of the end of the world. What was the result? In 1999, it was said that the whole country kept it confidential, but what? Qin Ren was bitten by a snake for 10 years and was afraid of the well rope. He didn't eat by Jie's trick and said, if this really happened, the earth would be destroyed. Then he left straight away. As soon as he went downstairs, the phone in his pocket rang. TSK, don't suddenly have to work overtime again. Qin Ren took out his phone and took a look. Fortunately it wasn't. The incoming call display on the screen consists of 4 large characters. Your Highness, there are many female leads in urban daily life in this book. Why not write a single female lead? Because there are too many characters to write about, and a single female lead cannot fit in a single book and cannot be written for long. Tell small stories and have fun together. Everyone gets along well, likes to support others, and doesn't like to leave quietly. Everyone is working and it's not easy for anyone. Mengxin's first book, Positive Energy Urban Daily Life, with the author raising various demands also. I would like to recommend a book called I Really Don't Want to Read Files. It's almost finished soon and there's a shortage of books to read, but leave the ticket for this one additionally. The author is a fierce man, so please do not believe in rumors in the future. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Immortal Go Online. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Immortal Go Online. The Queen is Gu Qin, and Gu Qin is the Queen. This is Qin Ren's private remark to his sister who is studying for graduate school. It has the nature of roast. I still remember Lu Shuren once said, no one in the world can answer their phone. Most of the time, only Gu Qin's is available. It's not even possible to not answer. Since the day when Qin Ren and Gu Qin became brothers and sisters in an orphanage and relied on each other, Qin Ren has hardly missed any phone calls from her, except in special circumstances. The same goes for now. Hello. Qin Ren. Although the girl's voice in the earpiece sounds pleasant, her tone appears somewhat cold and indifferent. Qin Ren has become accustomed to this. What's wrong, sister? Qin Ren, I just received a text message with a verification code that was sent incorrectly. Sent the wrong verification code. Isn't it normal for smartphones to receive a few incorrect verification codes every day these days? Qin Ren, do you know what verification code it is? Qin Ren certainly didn't know, he was just planning to ask. It's a registration SMS from Zhenai.com. Gu Qin remained indifferent, only speaking slightly faster. Zhenai.com, blind date website. Qin Ren, did you automatically fill in my phone number when you registered on your home computer? Me. A blind date. Qin Ren sneered and asked why. It seems that regardless of whether they have blood ties or not, sisters from all over the world are the same, not afraid to speculate about their younger brother with the most gossipy heart. Sister, you know me well. First of all, let me know about blind dates. Actually, you didn't even answer me. The cold voice began to resound. Harm, I was just saying, as the saying goes. Don't be playful and smiley. Qin Ren actually had the intention to haha, so a soft nasal sound finally emerged as if he couldn't hide it. Speak up. Are you actually registering? Based on more than a decade of experience, Qin Ren knew that Gu Qin might be really anxious and quickly said with a straight face. Of course not. Sister, if I. Mr. Qin. Qin Renzheng explained that Bai Jie also came down from the second floor, still wearing a professional 8-toothed smile. Since you insist on your own choice, I hope what I just said is unnecessary. Let's meet again by chance. Oh, goodbye by chance. Qin Ren shook Bai Jie's outstretched hand, blinked twice, then gradually widened and immediately grabbed the microphone of his phone. Sister, don't misunderstand me. I swear. That was just. Hey. Sister. Gu Qin. Qing'er. Dudu, the phone has been disconnected. Meanwhile, in a classroom located far away in the Mingxin building of Jiaodong University. Some petite bodies leaned against the window, their hands tightly gripping a white old Vivo in front of their lower abdomen, their slender fingers flicking the loose volume button, appearing inexplicably irritable. Scammers. Her lips seemed to purr, and her eyes looked through a few strands of raised soft hair towards the white birch by the far playground, a thin layer of water shining slightly out of focus. And swear he. When he was in college, he also swore that he wouldn't have a girlfriend. What's wrong, Gu Qin? Outside the classroom, a middle-aged woman with large wine-red waves walked in holding a stack of documents. It's okay. The figure by the window turned around. Teacher Zhang, I've finished analyzing and writing. I'll send you a QQ for you to take a look. Good. The woman sat down, opened QQ, and secretly glanced at the student in front of her with a puzzled gaze. Strange, why does it sound like there's a sniffling sound? Has this child caught a cold? On the other side, near Longhu community. Damn it. This person surnamed Bai is truly harmful to human spirits. Curse you for going out and encountering Aben. Qin Ren, who left Fenya tea house, went to the supermarket. At this time, he was coming out of the Walmart. A big sweat rolled down his forehead and blurred his vision, making his melancholy eyes look depressed. That naughty cat, too, can eat even more than me every day. He was carrying a large bag of cat food and small dried fish in his hand, but had to transform into a laborer on this rare day off. Facing the scorching sun, Qin Ren finally walked back to the entrance of the community. His longing for air conditioning was like ants crawling on his body. Children, don't run around, be careful of falling and getting injured. The gatekeeper at the entrance of the community was very kind. Qin Ren looked up and seemed to be persuading a little girl who rushed into the crowd and tried to break through the access control. Hey, lying down. Why are you still biting people? The progress seemed to be not smooth, and a commotion began. The gatekeeper covered his white glove on his right hand and bared his teeth. Qin Ren, through the sweat hanging from his eyelashes, vaguely saw a small white figure cat crouching through the access control and breaking into the community. Oh, little bear! He let out a cold groan in his heart, and then his stomach suddenly rang. It was only then that he remembered that he had forgotten to eat since finishing overtime last night, and now it's almost the same afternoon. People are like iron, rice is like steel. Qin Ren carried a big and small bag and went to the nearby vegetable shop to buy a bundle of hanging noodles. After buying them, he entered the community. When he reached the 17th floor where his home was located, Qin Ren was surprised to find that there was an extra pile of things at his doorstep. Black and white, forming a ball, just like a giant rice dumpling with its filling exposed. Qin Ren approaches, schemes, and rice dumpling moves. It turned out to be a squatting person. With pure black hair and pure white clothes, a body about 12 or 13 years old stood up rubbing its eyes. This is a pretty little girl. Her facial features are particularly delicate, and her figure has a rare and graceful symmetry among her peers. Her long black hair falls on her slender waist, and her white dress is antique and embroidered with a circle of hollow light silver patterns, shining brightly. And even more dazzling is the slender and smooth calf exposed under the hem of the skirt. Qin Ren has only seen this type of leg twice in his life. Once in a dream, once in the CG of a certain game. Same floor. Qin Ren recognized her as the little girl who broke the access control at that time, but she appeared here. Is it a neighbor's child? Qin Ren lowered his head and glanced at the two bare and tender white feet of the little girl without shoes. Hey, where did you come from? The little girl did not answer this question, but instead cautiously looked at Qin Ren and the cat food and dried fish in his hand, and then asked him a question. Are you a foolish mortal? As soon as you speak, you will be the second oldest. Qin Ren didn't know whether the focus of the question was stupidity or mortals. After considering it for a moment, he replied. I am not a foolish mortal. A hint of doubt flashed in the little girl's eyes, as if she was amazed by the existence of non-foolish mortals in this world. Are you a arrogant mortal? Not really. When Qin Ren said these words, he instinctively touched a faint white cross mark on his collarbone position. Well, the scar didn't react. It seems that the other party is not a demon descendant. Not a demon descendant, yet not speaking human language. In my impression, there have been several popular fantasy dramas recently, and children are easily influenced by television. This person in front of me should be a typical example. Children, you. Children. Qin Renwu's attitude towards being a close friend made the little girl seem somewhat dissatisfied. After shifting her wavering gaze away from cat food and dried fish, she arrogantly lifted her chin. Are you the child? Even ordinary people dare to underestimate this seat. This seat. Unexpectedly, the theme voice was quite well matched, and Qin Ren was momentarily stunned. Humph! The little girl seemed very satisfied with Qin Ren's reaction, and as soon as she pinched her waist with both hands, she inexplicably began to feel proud. Let's put it this way, for a mere human like you, when you see this constellation, you should say, grandmother, ... How about it? Do you want to shout and see? ... Qin Ren's face turned black at that time. He is truly a bare child. Little brat, where are your parents? Born to be raised, without a father or mother. He is quite filial. All right, hurry home. Qin Ren lacks patience. If I run around barefoot again, I'll call the police. The little girl blinked strangely and was surprised by Qin Ren's call to the police. He is truly a foolish mortal. How could there be such a strange habit? However, this was also an opportunity. She gently furrowed her delicate eyebrows, seemingly beginning to consider something difficult. Qin Ren didn't care about her anymore. He inserted the key into the lock, but before he could twist it, the little girl suddenly made up her mind and grabbed his hem. Okay. Just hold it. What? With a brave tone and a hint of timidity, Qin Ren was taken aback. Mortal, don't you want to hug me tightly? I can hold you here, but as a condition, you must let me enter your. She glanced at the anti-theft door of Qin Ren's house. Enter your cave. Dong Tian. Yes. The little girl muttered to herself, somewhat puzzled. Even ordinary people have caves, although their spiritual energy is thin, it's really magical. I think your brain is more magical. It's Immortal again, it's this constellation, and now there's Dong Tian and what? Spiritual energy. So this guy is planning to play the whole show with him. Qin Ren couldn't help but re-examine the holy mark on his body, and after confirming that the other party was indeed not a demon descendant, he felt a bit headache. I said, are you going home or not? I want to go back. The little girl nodded, but I don't know how to go back. Lost. Qin Ren took out his phone and opened Baidu Maps. Tell me, where is your home? Wanyao Continent, Luyun Sect. 10,000 demons are big. Qin Ren typed 3 words, stopped his finger, and cleared the search box. He furrowed his brows tighter and tighter, staring at the little girl for a while. The words spoken by Bai Jia at noon gradually came to mind, and slowly, a feeling of unease began to rise in his heart. Hello. The little girl tilted her head. Are you a person from this world? No, as they all said, I come from the land of 10,000 demons. The little girl once again became proud, with one hand proudly pressing on her soft and puffy chest. And this seat is not human either. This seat is the most prestigious immortal lord of the Luyun sect. Mengxin only knows how to write honestly, and what she brainstorms has nothing to do with her own. P.S. Rapid investment, signed off, end of this chapter. Chapter 3. Little Mother Cat Tuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Little Mother Cat Tuan. There are rumors in the Bureau that the plane barriers may have loosened again. There may be a new generation of demon ancestors coming to the ectopic plane. The coordinates of the loose gap in the plane barrier are in Rongqing. The words spoken by Bai Jia at noon gradually became clear and began to be repeated in his mind. While Qin Ren was still feeling a bit dazed and confused, he heard a click, and a crisp sound pulled him back from his wandering mind to reality. Pa, Qin Ren knocked off the little hand that twisted the key in an attempt to open his own door. Why? Pain. The little girl who claimed to be the Immortal Lord pouted her little mouth, touched the back of her hand, and then touched her own little belly. Stubborn, so hungry, what's your name, mortal? Qin Ren. Qin Ren. She muttered, first looking at the small fish jerky and cat food in Qin Ren's hand, and then lifted her head. Qin Ren, there must be food in your cave, right? Qin Ren didn't want to answer and looked at the little girl again, trying to find some extraordinary things beyond her appearance, but he couldn't find them. What evidence do you have when you say you came from another world? Evidence. The little girl thought for a moment and reached into her collar to start pounding, causing Qin Ren's mouth to twitch. Take their own milk. Hee, do you match? He sneered and wanted to see what treasures this product could unearth from the flat desert. Here it is. Don't say, the little girl really dug out something and handed it to Qin Ren. Qin Ren took it over. It was a hexagonal black brand, not gold or jade, with scattered dots flowing on the surface, somewhat like the USB drive in the movie Superbody. What is this? Qin Ren held it in the palm of his hand, feeling a bit cold. Upon smelling it, it carried a faint milk fragrance, clear and sweet. Of course, he is not a pervert. Just after years of exorcism, it's like a hunter identifying animal footprints and feces, developing some unique habits of discerning things. This is the token of Luyun sect, and there is also a strand of spiritual energy from our sect leader inside. The little girl introduced herself in this way, and after playing for a moment, Qin Ren couldn't see anything, only feeling that it was not something that the existing technology on Earth could produce. So, after taking a deep breath, Qin Ren returned the token to the little girl, feeling uneasy and having to start accepting a certain fact. That is to say, Bai Jia's speculations about plane barriers may not be unfounded. Coming from an ectopic surface. Damn it, what should we do? It feels like a big deal. Qin Ren is actually feeling very strange now. The loosening of plane barriers and the re-arrival of extraterrestrial creatures, if something really happened, it should have sounded like something that would definitely move or even shock him. Unfortunately, the Immortal Lord, in front of him, who had already started swallowing cat food, couldn't bring any fluctuation to his heart no matter how he looked at it. Speaking a mouthful of spiritual energy that penetrates the sky, should it come from an immortal level? Which means she might be a cultivator. Wanyao continent, Luyun sect. It sounds like that plane should be dominated by demons and monsters, so there are many cultivation sects like the Luyun sect, where she belongs, that slay demons and eliminate them, practicing justice for the heavens. So to put it this way, this little girl herself can be considered half a peer. And she just claimed to be a great-grandmother. Maybe she's actually a master of cultivation, but if it's a big shot, why would she be so embarrassed? Why did you find yourself at the door? A lot of doubts flooded into Qin Ren's mind in an instant. He was considering whether to let the little girl in and ask a good question. She couldn't help but reach out and tug at Qin Ren's clothes. Qin Ren, don't be fooled by my seat. Hurry up and get in, I can't take it anymore. When a little girl is unhappy, she purses her mouth, and her thin lips are tinged with a warm water color, which has a hint of pity for me. What are you urging me to do? Isn't that what I'm doing? Qin Ren heard her stomach rumbling and indeed seemed to be starving. Finally, he turned the key and hit his knee. Jia, the door opened, and the uninvited guest first slipped through Qin Ren's armpit, barefoot, and slipped in with a clattering sound. From her sparkling gaze and slowly opening mouth, Qin Ren could tell that she let out a "wow" exclamation. But then, this guy picked up his little hand and began to inspect Qin Ren's cave sky, as if no one was around. What about the food? What about the drink? Is there only one bed? Where are you sleeping tonight? Is this guy here to be an uncle? Qin Ren suddenly had a feeling of luring wolves into the room. Hello, you, Shangxin. Have you ever heard an old saying that goes put on socks first, then shoes, be a grandson first, then a grandfather. Old saying. Who said it? Lu Shuren. The little girl was already hungry and became even more greedy upon hearing it. What's the brine? Lu Shuren. Well, you can understand it as an ancient sage. Qin Ren threw out a word that she estimated she could understand based on her reading experience in online literature. But in reality, the little girl doesn't care much. When I was in the land of 10,000 demons before, I never tasted anything ancient fresh and salty in this place. She muttered some words that Qin Ren didn't understand or was too lazy to understand, while Qin Ren kept looking for slippers for the little girl in the shoe cabinet after turning on the air conditioning. There was only one pair of summer slippers at home, not much preparation, so after flipping through them for a long time, Qin Ren finally pulled out 2 pairs of spring and autumn style light plush slippers. A pair of blue bear slippers were left by Qin Ren's first love ex-girlfriend a long time ago. The other pair are pink caterpillars, left at home by Qin Ren's sister Gu Qing during the Chinese New Year. Take it, put this on first. After comparing the sizes, Qin Ren threw the pink caterpillar to the little girl and foolishly put it on his feet. Not to mention, it was about the same, but it got bigger and bigger. It seems that sister is not only small, but also has really small feet. Qin Ren sighed and then waved. You, come here. The little girl with a wrinkled nose and an unknown smell came over. Qin Ren pointed to the chair next to the dining table. Sit here, don't move, I'll go get some food. Oh. She nodded obediently and sat up with her little but moving, waiting. Qin Ren, however, was not in a hurry to cook. Instead, he first opened the cat food and dried fish he had bought and poured them into a small fish-shaped food bowl on the ground. Meow. At this moment, a silver and white ball of fur appeared from somewhere, walking seductively towards Qin Ren. Meow, don't make any fuss, groups. The little mother cat named Tuan insisted on making a scene, reaching out her paws and hugging Qin Ren's calf, wagging her tail and rubbing against it. Okay. Qin Ren crouched down and touched her little head, directly showcasing his hand. I can't buy Mrs. Cat's brand of dried fish today, so I changed the brand and made do with it. Meow. Tuan was shocked and stopped rubbing against it. Really, I've searched all over the supermarket and it's out of stock. Unlike ordinary cats, Tuan has her own unique brand for Zhaoyugan. Feeling that Qin Ren did not deceive her, she was slightly disappointed and her soft ears drooped. Meow. Although he looked like a British short, Tuan had a pair of blue sapphire big eyes like puppets. He kept them round and looked at Qin Ren with a whimper, just like the 16-year-old JK who had been taken away for the first time due to his ignorance. He hoped to be comforted by the man, feeling aggrieved. Tuan obedient. Behind her back, Qin Ren scolded her for being a ponytail, but when she really acted coquettishly, he would still gently lift her onto the sofa. I really can't do anything today. As compensation, why don't I get you another bag of cookies? Woo. Tuan let out a groan listlessly. 2 bags. Tuan lowered his head and gently clawed his paws on the sofa cushion. 3 bags. They're all peanut flavored, okay. Meow. Tuan obediently responded, squinted his eyes, and rubbed Qin Ren's arm with his furry and round buttocks. Qin Ren smiled knowingly and rubbed her little head. By the way, I know the child at the dining table. Pay attention to your attitude. Meow. Upon hearing this, Tuan peeked and called out to the little girl at the dining table. But the little girl seemed to have little interest in Tuan. Apart from looking around, she occasionally glanced at the dried fish and cat food in the food bowl. Okay, I'll go cook, you can eat it yourself first. Cats are truly a delightful creature. After Qin Ren gave her orders, she walked towards the kitchen. Little did she know that just as she turned around, a hint of planned pride and cunning flashed through her beautiful big eyes. Obviously, Tuan is not as harmless as it appears on the surface, but rather a scheming cat that has figured out how to deal with the garbage collector. Yudao is the best way to spoil a cat. With a quick calculation, it has been more than 3 years since Qin Ren picked it up and brought it home. Tuan has learned a lot and knows at what time to be cute and coquettish to the official in order to maximize profits. After stabilizing the master, Qin Ren put on an apron and looked at the refrigerator, only leaving a mushroom soup hot pot base and a small box of fat beef. If paired with noodles, it can also make a meal for 2 people. Start with the wok, stir-fry a small piece of mushroom soup base with boiling water, add the noodles, boil for a while, add some water to continue cooking, remove and place on top of the prepared lettuce. Blanch the beef in mushroom soup until it changes color and pour it into a bowl. Add a little white vinegar to enhance the aroma, add a handful of scallions, scrape a small piece of lard and fry until fragrant. Drizzle over to stimulate the fresh flavor of the soup base and make the beef more moisturized and plump. The little girl's eyes lit up as soon as she smelled the smell, sitting on a chair, restlessly swaying her 2 delicate white calves. Can you use chopsticks? Qin Ren shouted in the kitchen. Yes, the little girl answered babbling. Qin Ren took 2 bowls of golden soup and fat beef noodles, lowered the air conditioning temperature by 1 degree, and began to have lunch with this mysterious creature. I said, what's your name? Qin Ren had many questions back then, but now he needs to start asking. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Spirit Beast Luoyao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Spirit Beast Luoyao, what's your name? The little girl sat directly below the air conditioner, not afraid of the cold at all, whistling on the noodles on her chopsticks. My name is Hu Luoyao. Hu Luoyao. How old are you? The little girl put down her chopsticks and looked at Qin Ren thoughtfully. How old are you here to be considered adults? 18. I'm 18. Qin Ren felt like he was being treated as mentally disabled. With a merciless iron hand, he reached out and grabbed her soft face. Give you another chance to speak human language. Pain, pain, pain. Luoyao opened her mouth and revealed her 2 pure white tiger teeth, only to find that Qin Ren couldn't bite her face after pinching it, so she reluctantly gave up. I can't remember clearly, anyway, this seat is already an adult. So what? What is the exact age? 320.1 years old. Undoubtedly from the perspective of immortality, it belongs to the old witch. So you're a cultivator. Qin Ren, could you first let go of this seat, okay? Not good. Qin Ren shook his head. He had already reduced his strength, but was reluctant to let go. Because Luoyao's face is really comfortable, smooth and soft. Not to mention, her skin temperature is still icy and cool. When pinched, it feels like a frozen glutinous rice ball. In the summer, it is rubbed into various shapes, which not only relieve stress but also feels comfortable. Answer one more question and I'll let you go. Are you a cultivator? Cultivate immortality. Humph, even though she was grabbed by a mere mortal, Luoyao's lips could still be raised with a proud curve, and her little hand crossed her waist. What's so remarkable about cultivating immortals? This building comes with its own immortal roots, and it is the supreme existence that guards the Luoyuan sect. The guardian spirit beast. Spirit beasts. Qin Ren suddenly felt that he was not very smart, no wonder he turned out to be a beast. If the transformation of animals into human form occurs in the realm of immortals, it is not too surprising. Qin Ren finally let go, and Luo Yao couldn't wait to take a small bite of the noodles, with an incredible starlight popping up in her eyes. Slow down, no one is competing with you. Qin Ren could understand as he watched Luo Yao wolf down her food. In the world she lived in, there should be no industrial seasoning like monosodium glutamate and chicken essence, and other spices may also be lacking, which is why she was so fond of a bowl of golden soup and fat beef noodles. So how did you get here, and why did you find me here? UN #%. Master asterisk #UN. Okay, let's talk about it after finishing, okay? Qin Ren couldn't bear to watch anymore. Fortunately, this guy ate quite quickly. When he still had half a bowl left, Luo Yao was already drinking soup. Ah! When the last sip of soup was taken, Luo Yao collapsed on the chair with a slight softness, touching her small belly with both hands and happily squinting her eyes. Her cheeks were pink, as if a lingering charm still lingered. Are you full? Please explain. Aha! Luo Yao propped up the armrests of her chair and sat upright, chatting earnestly. A few hours ago, the leader and chief disciple of the Luoyuan sect were preparing to cross the tribulation and ascend. At that time, I was also on site to protect them. Who knew that a tribulation cloud suddenly lit up? Luo Yao was very focused, constantly comparing and drawing, trying to describe the scene grandly to intimidate Qin Ren. But after listening for a while, Qin Ren actually felt that it was similar to a cliché time travel novel. To put it simply, Luo Yao happened to be struck by a thunderbolt. Of course, the premise should be as Bai Jia said, the barrier on the plane is loose, and the gap happens to be in Rongcheng. Therefore, when Luo Yao regained her senses, she had already appeared next to a bus stop near Erxian Bridge. Do you still know about buses? Qin Ren was surprised. Of course our spirit beasts are different from those demon tribes who think about immortality every day, let alone foolish humans. As long as we reach the transformation period, we can naturally prolong our lives and communicate with spirits, and learn things quickly, so you came by bus. Qin Ren wiped the oil stains on her lips with a tissue. No, it's not. Luo Yao felt a bit regretful and then blushed. I don't know how to ride a mount called a bus, and it's pitiful to have so many people ride it. I didn't expect this guy to be quite kind. Give me your hand. After wiping his mouth, Luo Yao continued to wipe his hand. He also said he knows how to use chopsticks and can even dip soup into his hands when eating noodles. Qin Ren muttered to himself and then pouted. Keep talking. Oh. Luo Yao watched his movements and withdrew her somewhat stunned gaze. Later on, I walked along the road and didn't know where to go. Then a foolish and arrogant mortal came over and, like you, suddenly said to hold on to me. Qin Ren estimated that it was normal for kind-hearted people to want to report to the police because they saw her walking on the street without shoes on. Then she grabbed my hand, grabbed it for a moment, then withdrew, and that foolish and arrogant ordinary person's gaze became very fierce. Luo Yao paused and gave Qin Ren a slight glance. Even more ferocious than you pinching my face. Why don't you finish speaking in one breath? I'll still be pinching. Why? Because people are under the eaves, they have to bow their heads. Damn it, Luo Yao felt that this sentence must have been said by the braised tree person. It's just a bit of ancient fresh and salty, so if there's a chance, you must eat it. She pursed her lips with resentment and unwillingness, and continued. Then, the mortal muttered about some kind of steamed bun and suddenly pulled out something strange to attack me. Momo. Demon descendant. Aha. Luo Yao nodded vigorously, with a hint of vigilance in her eyes before quickly calming down as she looked at Qin Ren's face. She attacked me, so I hid for a while and ran. She started chasing me, and as we approached, our seat suddenly sensed the presence of a very thin spiritual energy. We followed the position of the spiritual energy and hid in. After finding your cave from the iron box, we felt a bit tired. After resting for a while, we woke up and saw you. After this explanation, Qin Ren roughly understood. It should have been after crossing over that Luo Yao happened to encounter an exorcist. Although Qin Ren knew that the holy scar would not sense Luo Yao, the exorcist should have learned about Luo Yao's extraordinary nature through other means and mistakenly pursued her as a demon descendant. Then, Luo Yao managed to escape all the way to his own place. Hey! That's not right. Qin Ren discovered a blind spot. Are you claiming to be an immortal or some kind of guardian spirit beast? You only know how to escape and hide, and don't even fight back against that person. Faced with this question, Lord Shangxian hesitated a bit. Ben. It's not easy to kill in this seat. Qin Ren stared at her beautiful eyes. Is it not good or not? Spiritual beasts. Spiritual beasts are symbols of auspiciousness. When she talked about him from side to side, Qin Ren couldn't help but look at Luo Yao with a useless gaze. I ask you, as a guardian spirit beast, what is your cultivation level? The little girl felt guilty when he looked at her, her eyes were erratic, and her 10 fingers were flipping back and forth with each other. A grand spirit beast, with its own immortal roots, wouldn't go on the path of the demon race. Oh, can we make a cloud and drive a fog? That's too mediocre and vulgar. Then you can do something decent and showcase your talents. The existence of this seat itself is extraordinary and extraordinary. Qin Ren roughly understood and glanced at the bare bottom of the bowl in front of her, feeling somewhat worried. From the current perspective, Luo Yao belongs to a black family and cannot easily spread out. Before thinking of a suitable solution, I will definitely have to take her in. Having an extra mouth means having more money after all. This guy is some kind of spirit beast. It looks like a thief can eat it. If she doesn't have any other uses besides being beautiful, wouldn't she be raising her for free? Aren't you a spirit beast? You don't have any supernatural powers. Of course not. This seat will discharge and it will beep and beep when placed, discharge. Well, but you have almost no spiritual energy here, so it's not very powerful. As Luo Yao spoke, she showed off a faint flicker of electricity with her fingertips on the table, but there was no trace of it. It was indeed very weak. Qin Ren said that this is not possible. We are naturally born with talents that must be useful, and we must extract the surplus value of Luo Yao. So after talking for a while, what kind of spirit beast are you? Speaking of her identity, that is another thing that the little girl is proud of. This is Pishio request for tickets, end of this chapter. Chapter 5. Strange Spirit Beast Traits Added. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Strange Spirit Beast Traits Added, What Pikachu? Qin Ren dug out his ear. It's Pishio. Luo Yao didn't know what Pikachu was, but felt that Qin Ren was deliberately humiliating her. In a fit of anger, he stole a bite of noodles from his bowl. Pishio. If it's Pishio, then Qin Ren still knows. Pishio is like a tiger or leopard, with its head and tail resembling dragons and its color resembling gold and jade. It has long shoulders and wings that cannot be extended, and its head has horns. The male is a Pishio, while the female is a Xiu. This is a divine beast in ancient Chinese mythology, powerful and fierce. Legend has it that it is responsible for patrolling the sky, preventing monsters, plagues, and diseases from disrupting the heavens. If it is such an image, then as a guardian spirit beast, it is indeed understandable. Qin Ren looked up at Luo Yao, and the little girl's long soft eyelashes blinked and blinked. She had eaten enough and was already starting to feel a bit drowsy. When she lazily leaned back on the chair, she looked like a doll used by her owner to play house, not related to her strength and ferocity. Is it difficult? Her essence is actually a fierce comparison. Qin Ren had seen some demonic descendants before and knew the truth of not judging by appearance. Luo Yao. Transform. Don't. Luo Yao explained that the spiritual energy of this world is different from that of the 10,000 demons continent. The body of an adult Pishio is very large, and the dried spiritual energy cannot support its activities. How big is it? 3 or 4 buses are so big. Luo Yao drew a circle in the air with her arm, and after finishing it, she felt it was not big enough. She then stood on the chair and drew a new one. Very big, that's why this constellation lost its supreme golden body and wrapped itself in this human stinky skin. She touched her head with some disdain. Humans are really ugly, and her 2 beautiful corners are gone. Qin Ren had a slight regret. Although he has been exorcising demons for many years and has seen many ghosts, snakes, and gods, it is rare for him to have such a superficial image. Now that he has the opportunity to come into contact with the legendary Pishio from ancient times, he naturally wants to broaden his horizons. But not to mention that Luo Yao couldn't show off, it was possible. Based on the size of 3 or 4 buses, he didn't know where to take her to show off. Since Qin Ren couldn't broaden his horizons, he prepared to wash dishes and inquire about some other details. You also come and wash it together. Ha! How dare ordinary people make this seat clean? Ah, it hurts so much. You're just a cricket, you're still a grasshopper. I know you're now helpless and being chased, so you're planning to stay with me. I can allow it, but you have to do something and not eat or drink for nothing, understand? Luo Yao doesn't want to understand. But as the braised one said, she was under the eaves, so she obediently brought a small stool from the living room and stepped on it to wash with Qin Ren. Fortunately, the white bubbles in the sink were very fun, and Luo Yao soon enjoyed washing them. And Qin Ren also realized only after she stepped on the bench that she was really petite. If she didn't step on it, she would be at most 1 head higher than the dishwasher. It's really hard to imagine that this guy is hundreds of years old. Luo Yao, what did you mean when you said there was spiritual energy in my house? Literally, the spiritual energy of your world was originally dry, but when it comes to your vicinity, you can catch a trace, so I thought you were in a cave. Qin Ren had already explained that his place was not a cave, and Luo Yao was quite disappointed with this. However, at present, he can still feel the presence of that trace of spiritual energy, only being in this mountain and unable to locate it specifically. Do you have spiritual energy at home? Qin Ren was not very surprised. Devil descendants have always originated from a different world. He has been exorcising demons for many years, and it is normal for him to once come home from somewhere contaminated with some so-called spiritual energy. Tell me about your worldview of the 10,000 demons continent, right? What is the worldview? Luo Yao doesn't feel very delicious, otherwise she would have eaten it in the demon continent a long time ago. Qin Ren explained to her the meaning of his worldview, and then learned that the 10,000 demons continent was not as he had guessed before, but a place where only the demon race could cultivate immortals, establish schools, and enjoy the worship of the human race. As gifts and gifts, the demon race will occasionally reward humans with some miracles, such as long drought and rain, bountiful years and auspicious snow, as well as some longevity elixirs for ordinary emperors. And the most important point is that the demon race is the only power on the continent of 10,000 demons that can resist external demons. Exotic demons. Alien versus alien. Qin Ren's interesting listening is that there are plane barriers on Earth, and other planes are not necessarily the same. It is not impossible for such things to happen. It may seem impolite to say it, but in the eyes of Qin Ren, a native of the Earth, the occasional invasion of extraterrestrial demons into the 10,000 demons continent is at best a fantasy blockbuster. Without witnessing its bloody and brutal nature with one's own eyes, it is truly difficult to empathize. However, it should be noted that spirit beasts are spirit beasts, and demon tribes are demon tribes. Spiritual beasts cannot practice, demon tribes can. This is also the premise for Luo Yao to become the guardian spirit beast of the Luoyuan sect. Hey, Luo Yao, your sect leaders are all crossing the tribulations. Aren't they very powerful and capable of moving mountains and filling the sea? Generally. Luo Yao seems to have an indescribable attitude towards the sect leader, but when it comes to the chief disciple who also crossed the tribulation at the same time, he does not hesitate to praise him. She is the most proud and valued disciple of the sect leader, very talented. She followed the sect leader for not long but also reached the period of crossing the calamity. Looking at the entire demon continent. Are they all rare beings? I got it. As an old reader of online literature, Qin Ren has long memorized this kind of word. By the way, the person chasing you may be my colleague who mistook you for a demon descendant. Don't worry if I'm here. Konjac. It's a demon descendant. It's just. Qin Ren also began to introduce some of his worldviews to her. Of course, the worldview on Earth is very complex and cannot be explained for a while. Qin Ren only briefly explained those that are closely related to himself. 5 minutes later, the stove and dishes were all washed. Qin Ren rested on the sofa, while Luo Yao was groping and scratching around the room. There were always small stars in her eyes, and everything she saw was very novel. Especially the refrigerator. Open the door and slowly close it. Open again and slowly close again. What are you doing? I want to see if the inside still lights up when it's closed. It seems that no matter which side of the child, this little fart is good. Qin Ren stopped her and prepared 2 clothes to change, adjusted the water heater, and asked her to take a shower first. Especially my feet, I've been walking outside for hours now. Oh yes, you didn't step on any glass stones or scratch them, did you? Qin Ren suddenly thought of this question, but Luo Yao gave an unexpected answer. This is a divine spirit beast that never gets its feet dirty when walking. Ha! The strange traits of Pixiu have increased. There is still one at night, thank you for your reward. Your answer is not important. 10,300, A Charming Breeze 2200, by Shitzi 1500, Authors Bacteria Update 1500, Hands 1500, Burned Down 700 Chang'an Flowers Overnight, Tassel Su 600, Hojo Flower Love 500, Staying Up Late to Earn Money and Reading 500, QCC 200, 200 Storm Whirlwind Cloud Hill. Legend has it that a panda is 200, 200 more fees, sweeping 200 at the end. Qingming cannot sleep for 100, Mo Shang Ren Gui Yu 100, IS does not understand 100, 100 Cabbage Passing through the toilet. Qinghuan follows 100 stars, Wilderness Story 100, Book Friend 20190812085948831100, The Width of Life and Death is 100, Riding a Donkey and Shooting Back 100 times, Sugar 100, Golf Strike 100, The Moon Rises Bright, and 100 People Are Shining Brightly, Shaojing Yao Tian 100, Who Lives in the Big Pineapple in the Deep Sea, Zijing 100, City Ghost G 100, YY Novel Bar Nameless Bar Friends 100, Tuan Collapsed in My Arms 4, End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Are you looking like that? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Are you looking like that? Really? I don't believe it. Qin Ren transformed into the female host of a famous interview program, leaning on the sofa and waving suspiciously. Luo Yao walked over and sat obediently beside him. I took off my slippers. With a couple of slaps, Luo Yao kicked off the pink caterpillar, revealing her 2 delicate little feet. Just looking at the backs of the feet, they were indeed crystal clear and fair, with no time to see any green veins, just like a natural white jade. Lift it up a bit. Hey. Phew, a little higher. Despite being a spirit beast, Luo Yao had a clumsiness that was inferior to humans. With great difficulty, she laid her body at an angle and moved her slender legs together onto the sofa. Her slender arms held her legs and raised them as high as possible, allowing Qin Ren to see the soft and delicate soles of her feet that were almost devoid of wrinkles. Don't say it, it's amazing. The little girl ran barefoot outside for so long, but she really wasn't dirty at all. Even the heel is shiny and smooth, without any extra cutin. It looks like a boiled small wonton in white and red. The 5 pink toes are also delicate and cute enough, neatly arranged in a row, with soft and neat toe seams. Occasionally, they move restlessly and curl up, creating a gentle halo like pearl powder. Qin Ren. Tsk I was actually fascinated by it. Qin Renming was clearly not a pervert, so he immediately felt a slight fever on his old face. With a slight movement of his nose, he even smelled a pleasant scent of milk. It's outrageous, the agreed mighty immortal bird. Is this reasonable? Qin Ren, don't look anymore. I can't hold on anymore. Lying on the sofa, Luo Yao lifted her small feet in an L-shaped shape. Due to the pressure of her posture, her face blushed slightly, and her watery eyes looked at Qin Ren with grievances, shouting exhaustion. Is this a spirit beast, and he didn't make this guy work hard to this extent either? Look at this little face holding back, tsk, okay. Qin Ren silently grabbed her ankle and put her foot down, pointing to the bathroom. If the bottom is clean, you're impressive. So you still have some dust on your body, right? I've prepared the water for you, go take a shower now. It was evident that Luo Yao was quite fond of taking a shower, so she ran towards the bathroom with a clattering sound. Wait. Take the slippers and put them outside the bathroom. Hey. You still need to wear it. Luo Yao was a bit unhappy. She said her feet wouldn't get dirty. Do you want to show him again? Whether it's clean or not, you should wear slippers at home. Is the newly purchased spittoon clean? Can people eat with spittoons? Qin Ren gave a very typical example, but Luo Yao didn't refute it. On the spot, he took off his skirt and walked towards the bathroom. Qin Ren, who had a dark face, forcibly grabbed him and taught him how to use shower heads and shower gel. Save water, our world is different from yours. Everyone supplies water according to their daily needs, and there are people shooting and grabbing water on the streets at any time. Got it. Although Qin Ren created a very terrifying background story out of concern for water bills, a certain immortal seemed not to care much about the life and death of ordinary people. After happily agreeing, he turned on the faucet with a loud bang. Raptors often play in the water, and so do spiritual beasts. In the blink of an eye, 45 minutes passed. Until Qin Ren finished smoking 2 cigarettes and banged on the door, the little girl ran out with a thud. I'm in an apartment, do you know how expensive commercial water bills are? Luo Yao lowered her head and shook it. What a spendthrift. Qin Ren, there's something I've been wanting to say for a long time. Say. Luo Yao raised her eyes slightly and looked at the wall beside her, with wet hair twisted between her fingers. You are so cruel to this seat. Qin Ren was speechless, looking at her thin and delicate body. After a long silence, he hesitated to speak. Finally, he grabbed a large bath towel and gently covered her small head, rubbing it in a mess. Wipe it off, don't catch a cold. The sound in her ears seemed to be much gentler. Luo Yao poked out 2 black eyes from the towel and looked at Qin Ren for a while before nodding forcefully. Quickly, Luo Yao changed into Qin Ren's old shirt and shorts. The little girl's body couldn't handle it, and she always easily slipped half-round shoulders, exuding a particularly gentle and delicate vibe. Over 300 years old. Qin Ren couldn't help but feel a sigh in his heart. It was truly a slippery old shoulder. Tricky and fragmented, it was soon evening. What came faster than in the evening was the hunger in Luo Yao's belly. Qin Ren, Qin Ren. When the little girl came over to tug at Qin Ren's clothes, clutching her growling belly, Qin Ren had 10,000 alpacas running through his heart. Auntie, no, grandmother, the noodles you ate back then were only 3 liang, plus the ones you stole from my bowl, it was 4 liang. Are you hungry again at 6 o'clock now? Luo Yao was conflicted and didn't know how to answer. If he nods, Qin Ren will be fierce. But if you shake your head, is he really hungry finally, remembering that the immortal lord, who had to bow his head under the eaves, once again made up his mind to look at Qin Ren. Qin Ren, please hold me. Hold on tightly. And as a condition, you can cook for me to eat. I forgot if you didn't mention it, but this pun will be banned from broadcasting today. Qin Ren explained the meaning of reporting to the police to this cargo, and then pulled a trigger and moved her whole body. Among countless why, he was forced to explain to her the police, pistols, crimes, and even criminal law, and so on. Despite her dry mouth and tongue, Qin Ren still had no choice but to cook for her. It's still golden soup and fat beef noodles, but Qin Ren doesn't think she fell in love with this bite, it's just that she hasn't tasted anything better in the world yet. After eating, Qin Ren led Luo Yao carefully to the park near the community for a walk. There are water and trees in the park, which is good for adapting to the transition period. Luo Yao also puts them very open, but there are too many why in her mouth. Qin Ren, why do these 2 wheels move as soon as you step on them? Qin Ren, what is the shining thing on the lawn? Qin Ren, that woman is so promiscuous. You can see her belly button in her clothes, just like those foxes from the Hehuan sect. From time to time, 1 or 2 inappropriate words would come out of Luo Li's mouth, which made Qin Ren tremble all the way. Finally, he issued a command and casually turned around twice, waiting for it to get dark before returning home soon. When it gets dark, it's natural to consider taking a break. The apartment rented by Qin Ren is a second apartment, and the extra bedroom is reserved for his sister. Her sister usually lives in the graduate 2-person dormitory at school, but unfortunately, Qin Ren is also very aware of the consequences of giving her bed to other women. When I first broke up with my ex-girlfriend, it triggered such a crisis, so Qin Ren moved the sofa closer to the door and clapped his hands. Luo Yao, you're sleeping here tonight. I object. This certainly caused dissatisfaction among the spirit beast adults, with 2 small pouches bulging on their cheeks. Qin Ren pressed down the bag and said, opposing is ineffective. You are already quite useless, and at least you can put some value into it if there is a chance. How can sleeping here bring value? Oh, I have checked. Qin Ren blurted out a TVB tune. Pishio has 1 or 2 horns, one of which is called Tianlu, and the other is called Bixia. I remember you said that your body has 2 horns, right? So just sleep at the door honestly and help ward off evil spirits at home. Qin Ren threatened by pulling his face, and Luo Yao finally lay down in anger, burying his head in the pillow and pouting his small buttocks as a gesture of dissatisfaction. And this unintentional pout also made Qin Ren ponder. He stared at the small buttocks and squinted his eyes. Slowly, a bold question gradually came to mind and couldn't be avoided. There is an important reason why people have been fond of using Pishio as their auspicious symbol since ancient times, just like the coelenterates in middle school biology books. Luo Yao. Qin Ren called out. Luo Yao ignored him in a muffled tone. But Qin Ren still wants to ask. Do you have that cough on your body? End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Siblings Pen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Siblings Pen. It's night, 117F Building, Jiaodong University Dormitory Building. The high and erect ponytail swayed lightly under the desk lamp, and Gu Qing sat straight as usual. His simple little hand held a Bail Alabo eagle-beaked pen, leaving rows of elegant handwriting on the notebook in a rustling manner. A simple cartoon squirrel print white tee, slightly white light blue denim shorts, and a Vivo phone with even the protective case starting to peel off paint by comparison. Qin's daily configuration may not be compatible with Alebo pens that often cost over 1,500 yuan, but in terms of writing skills, this pen with a soft and elastic feel like a brush can also be suitable for people like Qin who have some proficiency in writing. Qin, are you still awake? The two-person dormitory was very quiet, and the roommate's sudden words were not loud, but they also startled Qin a little. Quietly caressing her chest, she turned back. I have a paper recently, and you're still talking about me. Wang Li, aren't you also? Hey. Are you going out? Hee hee. Wang Li smiled mysteriously and remained silent, continuing to wipe the mirror with this year's popular Shaoxi and L04. Qin doesn't understand lipstick, but she can roughly determine Wang Li's purpose when going out based on the color. We're doing experiments this week, and I haven't seen my boyfriend for several days. Give him a surprise tonight. As expected by Qin, Wang Li was going to meet her boyfriend. After drawing her lipstick, she couldn't wait to put on her small handbag and do the final grooming in front of the full-body mirror. While applying powder to her face, she didn't forget to mutter. Xiaoqing, so when are you planning to have a boyfriend with such good conditions? In one's lifetime. Whenever faced with such questions from roommates, Qin's answer is always cold and indifferent. It's not that easy for graduate students to look for it after finishing their studies. Their own vision will unconsciously increase, they will become distrustful of love, become cynical, and then. Alright, you'll be the old lady again. Qin felt that he couldn't take notes anymore, so he put down his pen and flipped through the pages of the book. My boyfriend and girlfriend are always around. I don't know what's good about my boyfriend and girlfriend. Of course it's good. Whispering softly was heard by Wang Li, who supported Qin's shoulder and leaned in her ear. Qin, please don't stand and talk without hurting your back, and hinder others' pursuit of happiness, okay? Me. No lower back pain. Your younger brother. Wang Li glanced at her and picked up the photo frame placed on Qin's table. What's your name? Qin Ren, right. With such a handsome younger brother, he still loves you so much, providing you with education and taking the postgraduate entrance exam. It's not easy for him to even give you such an expensive pen as a birthday gift. Sigh, of course you disdain us ordinary people. What nonsense. Give it back to me. Qin frowned slightly, took the photo frame back, put it back in place, and secretly glanced at it. It seemed that the reflection was slightly blocking someone's face, so he adjusted the angle and continued to lower his head to read. He is my younger brother, it's normal for him to be a little better to his sister. You go find a boyfriend, I need to study now. Okay, madam, please study slowly. I'm leaving now. Wang Li pretended to give a bow, then hummed a tune and left the quiet dormitory. It wasn't until 10 minutes later that there was a soft click. It's the sound of the frame being picked up. Another 10 minutes, with a click, the photo frame was lowered. The scene in the photo frame lingered in Qin's mind for a long time. The girl wearing a blue and white school uniform with a cold expression has not changed much to this day. The young man with a slightly green grin beside the girl, although mature, still tall and handsome, still silently guarding her side. This is a very good thing. But when did it start? Occasionally, when looking at this photo, there is an illusion that the distance between two people gradually widens. Qin has no answer to this question in her heart. After thinking about it, only the name of the past flashed by. The text on the page gradually skipped over, and the phone conversation with him during the day seemed to be replayed in my ear. Qin rubbed her eyes and persisted for a while, feeling a bit messy in her heart. Finally, she closed the book and went into the bathroom. Wow, after half an hour of flowing water, her delicate figure walked out wrapped in a towel, and her exquisite face was stained with some water droplets, slightly flushed due to the heat. Sisters and siblings. She glanced at the moon outside the window and suddenly felt a chill in her body. She quickly put on a small blue nightgown, turned off the lights, stepped on the ladder to the bed, hesitated for a few minutes, and finally took out her phone and dialed the familiar number. Do. After 2 sounds, Gu Qing suddenly remembered something, looked at the time on the screen, and nervously pressed the hang-up button. The entire dormitory fell silent again. Gu Qing tightened the tight blanket, closed her eyes, and it didn't take long for them to pass. When she opened them again, there was already a hint of clear water in her eyes. Yeah, I almost forgot that my roommate is not here tonight. She got up and got out of bed. Pick up the photo frame and the pen he gave on the table from a familiar position. After going to bed again, the photo frame was gently placed by her pillow. Qin Ren. That was a careful and gentle call that only I could hear. In the eyes that stared at the picture frame, the flowing water at the bottom of the eyes became more and more intense, and warm tears rolled down the pillow like a thread. Gu Qing murmured his name for the last time and fell into a deep sleep. On the other side, Longhu community. Where is this unable to breathe? The nightmare attacked Qin Ren at 10:40 in the morning. Qin Ren, who thought he had been bedridden by a ghost, was on the brink of death and sat up in shock, sweating profusely. So heavy. Is it really a ghost crushing the bed? Qin Ren lowered his head and saw something hanging around his neck like a koala, with a pale blue bruise wound around his neck. West 8. Qin Ren's face turned green. If he were a child or a woman, he might not be able to wake up. Looking at the culprit sticking to his body again, he twisted uncomfortable twice and then looked contented. Hey! In my dream, I eat people. As soon as he spoke, he knew it was old Chow Chow. Qin Ren took off Luo Yao and surprisingly put in some effort. It seems that this unconscious supernatural power is another characteristic of Pishio. The unlucky child, get up. Luo Yao rolled over and quickly got up with all 4 limbs facing the ground, like a gecko, showing a fierce grin, seemingly a kind of animal instinct. Who is bold? Pain and pain. Sit down. Seeing Qin Ren with a pale face, the little girl pouted and knelt obediently at the bedside. Say, what's going on? The sofa at the door is too hard to sleep in this seat. Qin Ren believes that this is not a reason. No matter how hard the sofa is made with modern industrial craftsmanship, is it not as comfortable as sleeping in Luyun sect? Don't say it, it's really not as good as that. Within the sect, I am all manifested in my true form, with fur on my body. Okay, to be fair, the fabric sofa is not very soft. Just give her a soft cushion another day. After all, although Luo Yao is a century-old monster, her body is still very young and her skin is delicate and tight. But these are later words. Qin Ren looked up and pointed to the bruise on his neck. Who did this? Luo Yao blushed and remained silent, looking down at the pillow with all her might. It's. You got your neck in by yourself. You're lying. Qin Ren, you are cruel to me again. Qin Ren felt a bit unreal. He had never really thought that the legendary Pishio would have this virtue, without any momentum. Fighting against her was like hitting cotton, powerless and uninteresting. Recently, there have been rumors that I like to eat grass by the nest. I would like to clarify that this is not a rumor. Recommend the Urban Daily Harem article, I really don't like eating grass by the nest, written by our Fantasy Village, as a full-time author with guaranteed updates and updates, end of this chapter. Chapter 8. Shopping Cloud Sister is Abnormal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Shopping Cloud Sister is abnormal, resigning as an exorcist, but having an extra little girl from a different side at home. Qin Ren touched the cross-shaped holy mark on his collarbone and vaguely felt that everything had happened in his dream. Unfortunately not. Stretching lazily and rubbing his slightly painful neck, Qin Ren glanced at WeChat and confirmed that there was still one day off today, so he had time to prepare some daily necessities for the little girl. So I woke up first, briefly combed Luo Yao's long hair, and then took a small stool to teach her how to wash. This is called toothpaste. Toothpaste, this is called a toothbrush. Toothbrush, the spirit beast adults who learn things quickly babbled and learned these new concepts, which made Qin Ren couldn't help but wonder. Do the 10,000 demons continent not have these things? Yes, but this seat is not needed, never used. Damn it, it's really fake. Open your mouth. Ah. Ah. Blow air. Ha. There is still a difference between spirit beasts and wild beasts. Qin Ren checked and found that Luo Yao's small white teeth were neat, dry, and clean, without any smell. It seems that there is indeed no need to brush her teeth. But when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Qin Ren can still afford to pay for an extra tube of toothpaste. What if the food, air, and other things on Earth are different from those on the 10,000 demons continent? After all, a world with spiritual energy and a world without spiritual energy can be vastly different. After washing, Qin Ren took Luo Yao out and went to the nearby Walmart to purchase some necessities, such as towels, clothes, and socks. Although Luo Yao had a 3-chapter agreement with Qin Ren, on her first visit to the supermarket, she couldn't help but throw things she was interested in into the shopping cart, and Qin Ren pinched her face several times. Qin Ren was a bit speechless. You might say she had never seen the world before, but she learned some simple daily necessities very quickly. She would recite them in a circle, and even quickly knew what a wall-breaking machine, microwave oven, and so on were. But you have to say she has intelligence and spirituality, and she always takes strange things. For example, when Qin Ren was shopping for peanut-flavored cookies for Tuan, he saw the colorful small squares hanging next to the counter, and his eyes lit up and he secretly grabbed a lot of them. "Child, you can't buy this," the cashier said with a sweaty expression. "Why?" Luo Yao blinked, very innocent, so innocent that even the cashier felt sorry for her if she didn't answer. If you insist on answering, the cashier can only sneer helplessly. "Child, you're still young, this is for lovers' use." Luo Yao was shocked and excited at the time. For Qin Ren, is Qin Ren so famous in this world? There are things specifically designed for him in the supermarket. Coincidentally, Qin Ren had finished selecting small cookies, and Luo Yao pulled out a few more good-looking ones. Du ran over and stuffed them all into Qin Ren's shopping cart. What? Qin Ren stared blankly at those 0.01, threaded, and hot sensations. At that time, his whole body was numb, and his old face was burning. At the same time, he gritted his teeth and whispered to Luo Yao. "Put it back quickly." "Why?" "It looks very nice, you don't need it." I know, it's exclusively for Qin Ren." Luo Yao cleverly raised one and happily brought it to Qin Ren's eyes. "Qin Ren, can you go back and use it for this seat to see? Use your sister. Also. Return it to me exclusively." It may be a bit embarrassing to say it, but Qin Ren didn't have the opportunity to have sex with his ex-girlfriend during his first love due to various reasons, so he hasn't used this thing so far. So the phrase, "exclusively for Qin Ren," in Luo Yao's mouth sounds particularly outrageous, and Qin Ren doesn't know what this guy has gone through, but he's also helpless. After all, although the languages of the two worlds are similar, it is impossible for Luo Yao to recognize all simplified Chinese characters based on this. Even if we know each other, a small and uninformed animal probably doesn't know the meaning of those 3 words on the packaging. "Anyway, you put it back for me." Qin Ren couldn't explain clearly for a moment. He turned his head to see more and more eyes gathering, and his forehead suddenly sweated. I can't show you, it's for 2 people. The spirit beast lord was even happier. "Isn't this seat exactly the same as you?" At this point, the masses have already begun to discuss. Considering the delicate and cute appearance of a certain spirit beast, a salesperson has even picked up a phone with one hand and is about to press 3 numbers. Cough. So what? I'm really sorry. My daughter doesn't understand. Who is you? Qin Ren covered Luo Yao's mouth, apologizing while quickly settling the bill and escaping from here. I almost got twisted into the bureau while strolling around the mall, which is also my first time. Carrying big and small bags was too tiring for Qin Ren. At noon, he didn't want to go back and cook, so he went straight to the Golden Arches. After each of them had a set meal, they ordered a whole family bucket. Is there much? Not much. Qin Ren finally learned about Luo Yao's true appetite from this, and the bowl of noodles from last night really hurt her. When I was in the Luyun sect, I often achieved countless accomplishments in such battles. The little girl was eating with a lively expression on her face, and Qin Ren was anxiously looking at the small mountain-like chicken bones beside her, holding his chin. A series of WeChat ringtones rang out abruptly. Looking down, Qin Ren is currently working on a project group at Qianhe Construction Consulting Company, Limited Langyuan 90-acre project. No way, won't you give me 2 days off without being fully paid? He frowned and opened it. Fortunately, it wasn't a big deal, it was just that the minister asked some questions about the drawings himself in the workgroup. Yunwan Yunshu. At King Qin, Shaoqin, have you saved the 125-unit plan? Qin Ren. Save it, Miss Yun, please find the server, Yunwan Yunshu. Which folder? Qin Ren. Let me think. Although it's not a big deal, it's important to reply seriously. After all, it was a project we worked on together. For over a year, whenever Qin Ren thought of that cold and beautiful face, his expression couldn't help but become solemn. The so-called workaholic refers to the infectious presence in the workplace. Qin Ren. Have you found Miss Yun? Yunwan Yunshu. Found it, Qin Ren. Alright, what's up? I'll do it tomorrow. Miss Yun, please rest and try not to work overtime today. After all, he is a senior who led him into the industry. The two of them have been working half teaching and half cooperating, and the necessary care for Qin Ren has always been in mind. In the group, Yunwan Yunshu did not reply again. After a while, a private WeChat message rang out. Yunwan Yunshu. Tisk, that's it again. As for. Although Qin Ren's company is a Sino-Japanese joint venture, due to its location in Rongcheng, the company has always had a youthful working environment similar to that of an IT giant. Regardless of the leadership or employees, any simple chat can be directly conducted in the group. Qin Ren didn't know why, but Yun Jie was somewhat rigid in this area. In the group, only work was discussed, and people-related topics would actively turn to private conversations. Is this also the influence of workaholic attributes? Qin Ren couldn't help but fall into contemplation, and coupled with just replying to WeChat, he had already frozen his brows and remained silent for a while. Luo Yao couldn't help but look at him with some worry. Qin Ren. Are you okay? It's okay, oh. It's okay, Luo Yao took a few sips of the straw. This black bubble water was really delicious. Seeing Qin Ren's heavy mood, the little girl lifted the lid and generously gave him the last bit. Qin Ren, are you thirsty or not? Qin Ren raised a bottle of Baisui Mountain in his hand. No need, the more I drink carbonated drinks, the more thirsty I get. I'll just have a sip of water later. Perverted. Luo Yao blushed and muttered softly, hesitating for a moment before taking a sip of water and spitting into her cup. Here. Do you want to be beaten up? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Days with her. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 10. Minister's Makeup. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Minister's Makeup, Quit Smoking. Damn it, it's really fake, Brother Ren. Really at 9 o'clock in the morning, on the 11th floor of Guijin Center, at Qianhe Construction Consulting Company, Limited, Qin Ren accidentally said a sentence that shocked a fat man on the opposite workstation. The chubby man's name is Stephen Chow. From a high school classmate to a college roommate and then to a colleague in the company, he and Qin Ren are considered to have a bad fate. He set aside a row of green apples separated between the two, stretched out a square-faced plate, and stared at Qin Ren in surprise. So suddenly quit smoking, Brother Ren, have you finally found a girlfriend again? Smoking is harmful to health. Qin Ren glared at him, took out a lighter from his coat on the back of the chair, and threw it to Zhou Qi. This is for you. Stretching his neck and looking around, Qin Ren waved to Zhou Qi and whispered. After I graduated, I learned to smoke. It was a last resort to inquire about leaders' updates in the company stairwell and maintain the hypocrisy among colleagues. Now that I've figured it out, time belongs to the boss, money belongs to real estate developers, and only the body belongs to me. Quitting smoking is not normal. I suggest you quit too. The words seemed reasonable, but after thinking for a moment, Zhou Qi still pouted. Forget it, I didn't draw much either, but Brother Ren, your words are not very convincing. I still suspect that you have a situation. What is the situation? It was not Qin Ren who asked this question, but a crisp voice came from behind Qin Ren. Zhou Qi immediately raised his hand in the direction behind Qin Ren. Report to Sister Yun, the situation is that Qin Ren has made a girlfriend. Fart. Draw your picture. Qin Ren gave Zhou Qi a middle finger, then slowly turned his head, organized his expression, and raised a water glass to the woman in front of him. Good morning, Miss Yun. Morning. With a familiar bright face and slightly icy apricot eyes, Yun Wanhe, the head of the company's design department, nodded lightly in response to Qin Ren's greeting. Inside the women's black small suit, Yun Wanhe still wore a white shirt, with a ruffled collar cleverly covering the puffy bulge on her chest. Even to avoid creating a lifting effect, the suit's button was slightly extra. This also shows that she is a meticulous woman. Or rather, a woman with a sensitive mind. This is somewhat like Gu Qin, but their personalities are completely different. Perhaps their first impression would be cold, but Gu Qin is aloof, like a cluster of thorny crystals, while Yun Wanhe is calm, a diamond that has restrained its radiance. Of course, as a typical set of OL, the matching bag skirt is also indispensable. The slender and straight legs under the hem of the skirt, wrapped in light-skinned panties and stockings, have a tight and round appearance that is not full for girls or more. Stepping on a pair of 5 cm black matte heels, it can be said that the graceful figure is outlined in all aspects. Every time Qin Ren sees such a Yun Wanhe, he feels that as a Sino-Japanese joint venture company, she is probably the only benefit brought by the mandatory rule of formal dress for work. However, due to her temperament and the presence of other female colleagues, Yun Wanhe's graceful figure appears much more restrained in the company. It's only Qin Ren, her long-term collaborator, who noticed these shining points on her besides work in her spare time. The minister's workstation was right behind Qin Ren. Yun Wanhe placed the convenience store coffee in his hand on the table and looked at Qin Ren's computer screen. Does the party still contact you on the 90-acre plot? Yes, there were adjustments, so I came early today. Can you finish it alone? Well, it's already done. Qin Ren raised his glass and hesitated over the hot water, while looking up at today's minister. The neat bun was pulled up casually as usual, and upon closer inspection, it looked a bit rough and restless. However, the 2 strands of sideburns hanging from her ears were very smooth, complementing her delicate oval face, giving her a refreshing and elegant feeling. Miss Yun, did you put on makeup today? Although it was light, Qin Ren still saw a slight difference in her body compared to before. Well, it's melted. He could even tell from such a light makeup. Is it possible that there is a problem with localization? Yun Wanha murmured in his heart for a moment, then unconsciously, he looked into the small mirror on his desk. After taking a photo for a while, his head tilted and suddenly reflected in the mirror the smiling and pursed face of Qin Ren, who had come from behind. Coupled with his melancholic gaze, a hint of kindness emanated. It's like in a hotel, with the uncle sitting by the bed afterwards, smiling like a sage at the high school girl in front of the dressing table, biting her hair rings and combing her hair not right. What kind of metaphor? Yun Wanha's eyes flickered twice, and the willow eyebrows furrowed slightly. He cleared his throat and turned to look at Qin Ren calmly, continuing. I'm not at work this afternoon and I'm going to attend a friend's wedding, so I simplified it a bit. Oh, that's it. Qin Ren was a bit amused upon hearing this. But Miss Yun, don't act like I'm reporting work, I didn't ask these questions. Who reported to you? Yun Jie's eyes widened, feeling that a year had passed, and now the younger generation she had personally brought up is really hard-winged. But to be honest, Qin Ren is also quite tough in terms of ability improvement and job performance. At least a lot better than Zhou Qi and others who came at the same time, otherwise she wouldn't be the only architect in the department besides the project manager who can keep up with her work pace. I also need to report my work to a child of yours, right? No big or small. Hee, I dare not. After all, the minister is still the minister. Even in a relaxed communication environment, Qin Ren knows how to stop at a moderate pace and immediately apologizes twice to get serious. Miss Yun. Why? To be honest, don't blame me for being a straight man. Personally, I don't think your makeup today is very good. Yun Wanha held the coffee paper cup with his fingers and pinched it slightly, pondering for a moment. Did you not draw your eyebrows well? No. Qin Ren shook his head and slid the chair on the floor, leaning slightly over. The makeup you put on today is really beautiful. Attending the wedding will steal the bride's attention, it's not suitable. Of course, I'm not saying that Miss Yun doesn't look good without makeup, she looks good too. I often watch it, hey. Yun Wanha loosened his fingers while holding the coffee, lifted it up and took a sip, took 2 sips, turned his back to Qin Ren, lifted his slightly cool earlobe and rubbed it against his face, then turned his head and glared at him again. Why do you spend so much time at work? What about the final version of 90 acres? Let me take a look first. Here, it's already opened. What is this square? The new sales department has feng shui requirements from Party A. Have you measured the distance at the intersection yet? After measuring, I can speak. Well, in terms of plot ratio. I have also recalculated, and there is a fluctuation of 0.3 per household. I have provided feedback to Party A that it is acceptable, and there are also shops in the north. Qin Ren's eyes gradually became sharp, and he opened tables and WeChat records in an orderly manner. The relevant drawings were also double-clicked in advance during the chat. Yun Wanha listened and his gaze gradually shifted from the screen to Qin Ren's face. In a year, he really grew up very quickly. Forget about talent, the effort that always complains but always perseveres. It is said that it is to provide education for the sister who relies on each other at home. Having such a younger brother, my sister should also become happier in the future, that's all, Miss Yun. Do you think? Miss Yun. Yun Wanha's soft eyelashes blinked, and as she looked at Qin Ren's puzzled eyes, she felt a slight warmth in her ears. After all, it was a very rare mistake for her to wander during work. Okay, you can send me all these on WeChat. In that case, today. Yun Wanha thought for a moment and said. Are you okay today? This. Qin Ren felt a thump in his heart. Usually, in such a situation, he would be forced to arrange things, which means he couldn't make a fish out of it again. However, Yun Wanha's next words surprised him greatly. I know you've been working hard on the last 2 projects. You've been working overtime for 3 months, every day until 2 or 3 o'clock. Anyway, I'm not here in the afternoon, so why don't you take a day off today? Okay. Qin Ren is a person who knows how to say no in the workplace and doesn't pretend to compare when he deserves benefits. He immediately nods with enthusiasm. Speaking of which, was it the last time he took a day off? After such a long time, the Pishio at home would go out to make soy sauce. He should also take another day off. Damn it. Miss Yun. What about me? At this point, Zhou Qi became sour and stood up to defend himself. I've been working overtime with Sister Sun and the others for a long time, do you think? Zhou Qi, please draw your picture carefully. Don't forget that Qin Ren wiped your butt for the first 2 miscalculations. Stephen was speechless and sat down in frustration. So. Miss Yun, should I go back now? Yun Wanha nodded and added. Take good care of your girlfriend's situation. Harmful. Qin Ren couldn't help but laugh and cry. Miss Yun, don't listen to Zhou Qi's random guesses. I just quit smoking and never talked about girlfriends. Yun Wanha fell silent for a second upon hearing the words, then let out a faint oh. No discussion if you haven't talked about it, then don't talk about it. It's great to focus on your career right after graduation. With this thought in mind, Yun Wanha unconsciously turned her gaze to the mirror and carefully examined her makeup. I feel inexplicably better than when I first arrived in the morning. If I had known I wouldn't have come this morning, it would have saved me a ride. Entering the field of architectural design is unfortunate, but allowing flexible time off during crazy overtime is fortunate in the midst of misfortune. On the way home, Qin Ren's mood was particularly refreshing, and his mind was also particularly empty. He stepped on the bike with his muscles and memories, gradually thinking of some more serious things in his heart. He thought of the Plane Management Bureau, which had already disconnected from him. Although Qin Ren had not mentioned to Luo Yao about returning to the 10,000 Demons continent, after that rainy night, Luo Yao had been on Earth as a foreign creature for some time. Has there been any movement from the Plane Management Bureau? Are you working on dealing with the gaps in the plane barriers? Have you had contact with other visitors from other worlds like Luo Yao? Is there any technology being developed to send visitors from other worlds back to their original world? Qin Ren has been dealing with the Surface Management Bureau for 4 years, and he knows that although the Bureau may be a bit mysterious and rogue, it is not the kind of dark and ruthless organization in conspiracy novels. But I'm afraid that the loosening of the plane barrier this time is not an ordinary event. If the Management Bureau takes any action similar to a comprehensive investigation of extraterrestrial creatures, then his days will not be calm. If encountering extreme situations, he can use his abilities to cope, but who would want extreme situations to occur? So Qin Ren pondered, why not wait until he had time to inquire and see if there were any policies or documents related to surface barriers within the Management Bureau. All kinds of requests endure sobbing. End of this chapter.